Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am.
Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
The doctor saying, how long have you been practicing?
So I'm not practicing currently, but I finished my MBBS in 2019, completing my internship in March 2019.
So, 2019 onward, 3 years, what have you been doing?
So I was preparing for the civil services examination, and that was the reason I did not practice.
Okay, all right. You mentioned letter writing is one of your hobbies.
Yes, sir.
When is the last letter you wrote to and to whom?
So the last letter I wrote to my friend on her birthday, that was in January this year, and I sent it on 1st of January. 10th of January was supposed to be her birthday. That was the last letter.
And how long was the letter?
So it was just a one-page letter wishing her luck.
Did she reply?
Yes, sir, she did.
In a letter?
Yes, sir.
In a letter?
Yes.
Okay. So, what do you think is the future of letter writing?
So as of today, because of the advent of social media and internet, the usage of letter has reduced. But I am hopeful that with time people will realize, because social media or other platforms lack that affection, the intimacy and the physical love, a remembrance that we have with letter. So people will come back to that form in time to come, is what I believe.
Would you remember some important leader of India who was very well known for his letter writing?
So the one that I would like to name is Jawaharlal Nehru. He wrote letters to Indira Gandhi. The other leaders who have written letters like Mahatma Gandhi ji is also known to write letters. So, in fact, all the leaders at that time wrote letters because that was the primary means of communication per se.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Is there somebody of your age, a year senior, etc., whom you know, not necessarily your father's daughter,
Yes.
who's in civil service? So you have a role model and you think this is a good career? Because for a doctor to migrate
Yes.
after completing an internship to civil service is a choice.
Yes.
And you have devoted 3 years of your life not to super specialization, not to specialization, not to going abroad, but to civil service. So I'm just asking, curious, do you know somebody?
So the decision to come to civil services was not driven because I knew somebody, but it was an incident that happened during my internship. So I did my internship from Government Medical College in Dehradun. And that is when I had a first-hand encounter, in fact, first time in my life, of the challenges that are there in the country, especially with regard to delivery of healthcare infrastructure.
So what was this incident?
So there are a number of incidents.
No, one incident, one crucial incident, because you did not say several incidents.
Yes, sir.
First part of your answer said one incident.
Yes, sir.
So we'll go to that incident.
Okay. So while I was posted in the emergency department as an intern, a patient with myocardial infarction, heart attack, was in the emergency, and we did not even have primary medicines like aspirin, and we had to refer the patient to the Fortis hospital, which is attached, because the
This happened in Doon Government Medical College.
Yes, sir. And I was posted as an intern. And that is when I realized that it is a challenge, because it is a tertiary care center. We do not have a cardiologist at hand who can handle a patient like this.
So how would your entering civil service remedy this?
So because I believe that I have a better understanding of how the health infrastructure in the country is working. And since
You are making two presumptions, which I would like to challenge, but I would not.
Yes.
First of all, I think you may have or may not have come across a book called Doctor Whose Life Is It Anyway.
No, sir.
I am an informed citizen,
Yes.
and I think I have a fair understanding of medical doctors and their incompetence in this country.
Yes.
If you know of a book by Justice Kannan on medical negligence in India, law and medicine, and even a super specialist medical doctor could not get justice for medical negligence in Calcutta and in Delhi, the case went all the way to Supreme Court.
Yes.
Another health secretary, Keshav Desi Raju, with another former health secretary, has written a voluminous 1000-page book which goes into this issue. The Medical Council of India has been superseded by Supreme Court and put into watch like the Credit Control Board. So let's not get into this that a medical doctor fresh out of medical college has better understanding of the medical infrastructure and can make a change. So that monopoly of wisdom, will the doctors' cartels run, is not acceptable to me as an informed citizen. We may have a difference of opinion on this one.
Yes.
You on the other side, being a doctor, would insist that this is not the case.
Yes, sir.
My problem is, how does a junior civil servant, right after getting into IAS, with superior knowledge and exclusive monopoly of knowledge of how infrastructure system in this country works,
Yes, sir.
suddenly make a difference to that at all? That's what I'm asking you to do.
So the difference that I can make in the system will be, since I said that I will have a better understanding of the demand, so I can help in recruiting the right resources at the right time, which
But you, for the next how many years in your life, would not be part of the recruiting or the professional purpose. You would probably start as an SDM, you will probably start as a Jilla Panchayat Adhikari,
Yes.
you will probably work as an ADM development, you will not be doing this work in this specific sector. So that cannot be the prime motivation of shifting from this crucial incidents, life-changing experience into civil service.
care.
So, what is the need of having a girl-specific institution in this modern era?
Ma'am, I think there's nothing wrong in having girl-specific institutions for the reason that sometimes the environment that is provided, the girls they have different sort of needs with regard to their development or their biological needs per se. So if we have an institution that is able to address those needs and empower them at the same time, so I think that is a good concept to have.
Well, okay. You must have you read today's newspaper?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything particular regarding medical field?
Ma'am, today's newspaper talked about Prime Minister saying that they will allot Ayush visas to the people from abroad who would want to come and take Ayush treatment in the country.
Right. So, what are your views about it? Why we were not? India has always been a pioneer even in the allopathic field.
Yes.
We know there have been a lot of medical tourism also.
Yes.
So, why the visas were not accorded earlier?
Ma'am, we were already promoting our Ayurveda, yoga, as well as Siddha practices to some extent. However, now that the advent of globalization has increased and also we see a rise in non-communicable diseases, and allopathy does not have a definite cure for those diseases, whereas Ayurveda does claim that there are certain remedies
Ayurveda
available.
claims
Yes, sir. That
allopathy doesn't have the cure. You are weighing a claim versus a cure.
So I would like to explain that the same thing should be testified. I am not saying that we should blindly follow.
Testified or tested?
So tested, whatever the research has to be done, the appropriate research should be done with regard to the Ayurvedic medicines and other practices in the treatment of non-communicable diseases. And that is, I think, the primary reason. It is also representative of India's soft power. So that is primarily, I think, why they are promoting it at this point.
Okay, so are you in favor of giving surgery, the option of surgery to the Ayush doctors?
Ma'am, it would not be wrong if we allow them to practice surgery, provided that there are right guidelines and regulations that are maintained. Ayush doctors anyway do practice Ayush surgeries per se, but the case is with regard to allowing them to perform surgeries with similar to allopathic doctors. So if we are able to maintain the right standards and provide them with right sort of training, there is no harm in allowing them to do that.
Okay, do you think WHO has failed as an institution or as a body?
Ma'am, WHO has not been very effective this time in the recent COVID pandemic, but I would not label it as a complete failure because we needed an institution like WHO. The solidarity call to action that WHO announced, and that was when all the countries across the world came together and started donating vaccines or sharing information. We had the COVID patent pool that was that was started sharing information on the virus. So I think we needed a organization like WHO, but it does need certain reforms in the way it is
So
functioning.
list me 3 reforms which you feel WHO should undertake.
Ma'am, first reform I would say is with regard to the power that it has. Right now, like we saw in the case of COVID, the investigation power, it was not exercised in a right manner. Second would be an early declaration of the disease, which was again lacking in case of COVID. We started with emergency of international importance and then followed it as a pandemic. Sorry, ma'am, I'm not able to recollect it.